It was a crisp afternoon at the University of British Columbia. The air buzzed with student chatter and the rhythmic clack of skateboards on pavement. Claire Dawson stood confidently on a temporary stage outside the Arts Building, her bold red blazer striking against the muted autumn backdrop. Known for her sharp critiques and no-nonsense style, Claire had been invited to speak about the media's influence on celebrity culture. "Let's be honest," she began, pacing like a seasoned performer. "We hand out praise like candy. Celebrities. Smile at a fan, donate a few bucks, and suddenly they're saints." Laughter rippled through the crowd, though a few faces looked uncertain. Then Claire spotted him. Keanu Reeves, seated casually on the steps of the nearby library. He sipped coffee quietly, a small smirk playing on his lips. Claire pointed him out, her voice rising. "And there he is, Hollywood's humblest star. Maybe he'll share his wisdom with us today." Keanu, dressed simply in a hoodie and jeans, didn't flinch. He met her gaze with a calm, polite smile, then returned his attention to a group of skateboarders nearby. The crowd tensed. Some chuckled uneasily, others glanced between the two, waiting. Claire pushed further, sensing a moment. "What's the matter, Mr. Reeves? Too profound for us mere mortals?" Keanu's serene demeanor seemed to absorb the jab, without resistance. Claire felt a twinge of irritation. Her mind flashed back to a different version of herself, fresh out of journalism school, idealistic and hopeful. That was before the scandal. She had exposed a beloved actor's corruption, a story that launched her career but left her jaded. The betrayal had been personal, and ever since she'd made a name for herself by tearing down public personas. Back in the present, she zeroed in on Keanu's quiet indifference. "Everyone has something to hide," she thought. "I just have to find it." After a few more moments, Keanu stood. The simple motion commanded silence. All eyes followed him as he approached the stage. Claire's smirk deepened. This was the moment she had hoped for. He stopped a few feet from her. His expression unreadable, he spoke softly but firmly. "What do you want me to say?" Claire tilted her head, sarcasm dripping from her voice. "Oh, I don't know. Maybe how being ridiculously wealthy makes you humble?" A few chuckles escaped the crowd, but Keanu didn't flinch. "Humility isn't about wealth," he replied. "It's about how you treat people when no one's watching." The atmosphere shifted. Claire opened her mouth to retort, but something about his tone gave her pause. There was no arrogance in his words, just quiet conviction. Keanu continued, "Humility comes from experience, from pain, from loss, and from choosing to see the world through someone else's eyes." His words struck a chord she hadn't expected. They weren't crafted for applause, they were real. "Maybe you should try looking for that in others," he added gently, before turning and walking back to the steps. Claire stood frozen, unsettled. She quickly brushed it off. "He's just another actor playing a part," she told herself. "No one is that perfect." Determined, she turned to her team. "Let's follow him. I'll find what he's hiding." The next day, Claire trailed Keanu across campus, her camera crew discreetly capturing everything. He didn't rush or hide. He moved with quiet ease, stopping to chat with students in ways that felt oddly genuine. At one point, she watched him offer thoughtful advice to a group discussing a film project. His feedback was warm, never patronizing. "Classic PR," Claire muttered, trying to convince herself it was a performance. But a small part of her wasn't so sure. Later, Keanu helped a nervous student who had dropped her books. He bent down calmly, asked if she was okay, and even cracked a gentle joke. The interaction was brief, but authentic. That evening, Claire followed him to a community center off campus. Through a window, she saw Keanu quietly helping serve meals at a homeless shelter. No cameras, no entourage, just him moving from table to table, offering warm smiles and clearing trays afterward. He wasn't performing. He was simply being. Claire's certainty began to unravel. The next afternoon, sitting alone at a cafe near campus, Claire reflected. She was unsure how to shape the story now. Then Keanu walked in. He approached her table without hesitation. "You're following me," he said with a calm smile. "What are you hoping to find?" Claire looked up, unsure for the first time. "I don't know anymore," she admitted. "You don't have to believe me," Keanu said gently. "But maybe try seeing people for who they are, not who you expect them to be." His words lingered. Claire didn't respond. She simply sat, wrestling with a truth she hadn't wanted to face. In the days that followed, her outlook began to shift. She still did her work, still wrote her columns, but something inside her had changed. The sting in her words dulled. She found herself less focused on exposing flaws and more interested in understanding people. When she met with her editor, Greg, she surprised even herself. "I want to write about something different," she said. "About seeing people as they are," Greg raised a brow. "If you can make that compelling, it might be your best work yet." A week later, Claire walked the campus without her crew. She spotted Keanu near the student center talking to a group of students. He didn't notice her, but Claire stood nearby simply observing. He wasn't doing anything special, just being present. She took a deep breath, stepped forward, and said, "Mind if I join you?" Keanu looked up and smiled. "There's always room for one more." For over an hour, Claire sat with the students, laughing, listening, and soaking in the conversation. She didn't once mention Keanu's fame. She didn't question his motives. For the first time in years, she just let someone be. When it ended, she thanked him. "I appreciate you letting me sit in," she said. Keanu nodded. "Sometimes we all need a reminder to just be present." Her article began to take shape, but it wasn't what she had expected. There were no scandals, no dramatic revelations. It was about empathy, about quiet kindness. Keanu's name was barely mentioned, but his presence was felt in every line. To her surprise, the piece resonated. Readers didn't lash out, they connected. Messages poured in from people who shared their own stories of assumptions, of being misunderstood. One former journalist even wrote, "You've inspired me to reconsider my path." For the first time, Claire felt her work had purpose, not because it stirred outrage, but because it made people reflect. One afternoon, she spotted Keanu again, sitting on a bench outside the campus library, a book in hand, just like the first time. She walked over and sat beside him. "I thought I'd find you here," she said. "I thought you might," he replied with a smile. They sat in silence, the kind that felt comforting. Claire realized that their connection didn't need words or stories. It was rooted in mutual understanding. Eventually, Keanu stood. "Take care, Claire. And remember, sometimes the best story is the one you don't chase." As she watched him walk away, a quiet peace settled over her. Her world had shifted, not through scandal, but through grace. From now on, she would seek truth